Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So welcome to our seminar today on Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So please allow me to introduce His Grace Yaduraj Krishna Prabhu. So Prabhu is born in Taiping in 1967, Perak, Malaysia. So Prabhu is 54 years old, and Prabhu have graduated in 1993 with Bachelor Engineering from University of Science, Malaysia. Prabhu worked in private companies for around 25 years, and Prabhu now have retired from working life in 2018. And after retired, Prabhu dedicating as a full time to serve in service and preaching. And Prabhu have accepted Harinam Diksha in 2000 and Brahmin in 2019. Prabhu is currently serving in ISKCON Taiping as chairman since 1997. Prabhu also a Hindu religious teacher for Taiping prison for last 20 years. Those who joined our previous session as Kali Yuga Dharma, you would have seen Prabhu's slide on how Prabhu have served and teach the religious thing in Taiping prison. And Prabhu also have conducted many motivational and spiritual upliftment programs in Tamil school, NGOs, temple, ISKCON community, and etc. So without further ado, let's hear from Prabhu on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, we can see.
Am I audible? Can you hear clearly my voice?
Yes, we're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can start now. Magyaranatamandosha Jananjana Salakaya Chaksuran Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruvayor Namaha. Namo Mispadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Pravaisu Samiti Nami Rati Bhutatamishaina Venacha Parashak Satmami Guru. Namo Mispadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Japataka Samiti Nami. Namacharya Padani Takpapani Garukata Damadaya Nagarakamatari. Namo Mispadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Samiti Nami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachami. Nirvishesha Chunyavadi Pasakya Disata. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadara Sarasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Satma Bandhamoye Sabadana Mhate Jahara Pasade Bai Evavato Viyajai Krishna Prapti Hoye Jaha Hote Krishna Prapti Hoye Jaha Hote Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to welcome all the devotees. Today's special and unique class, a very unique title. So today, first of all, and then we're gonna see this presentation for the next 1 hour 50 minutes. And with your permission, I may take another additional 10 or 50 minutes at the end of my presentation, because I'll be presenting the Bhadra Purnima campaign as well. Okay, today's topic, where I'll be speaking, titled The Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, One Book Journey to Spiritual World. Okay, so some of us may be aware that this is not this book, and some of us may not be aware. So this one book We're going to see for the next 1 hour, 1 hour 50 minutes, the glories of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, in first canto, chapter 1, text number 3, a very nice verse mentioned by Srila Vyasadeva. Nigama kalpatru galita palam, sukamukha amarta drava samyutam, bhata bhagavata rasamalayam, murahu rasika bhuvibhavakaha. So I like to request anyone can help me to read the translation. Anyone, please unmute and you can read this translation, please.
I can do that, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
I can read, Prabhu.
I can do that, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, please read. Somebody.
O expert, that thoughtful man, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful. Although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated soul. That's all I can read. I can see that.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can see from this verse where Srila Vyasadeva himself saying that the glories of this Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that this is Bhagavatam is the mature fruit for all the Vedic literatures. So Vyasadeva have compiled, he have compiled the 4 Vedas, he has compiled the 18 Puranas, he has compiled 108 Upanishads, he has compiled Mahabharata. But here, Vyasadeva is saying that this is a mature fruit. This Srimad Bhagavatam among all the Vedic literatures, it's a mature fruit, he'd say. And then he says that this Bhagavatam became more special because it came from the lips of Srila Sukadev Goswami, a liberated soul. Even he said that although this Bhagavata itself is relishable, but because it came from the mouth, from the lips of Sukadev Goswami, it becomes more relishable. That's the statement of Srila Vyasadeva. Okay, so this Vyasadeva compared this Srimad Bhagavatam with a ripened fruit. If you take all the fruits are like the Vedic literatures, and this Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, is a ripened fruit of all the Vedic literature. Okay, so that's how he has positioned Srimad Bhagavatam. He has glorified Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, before we continue with our understanding of the Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, let us all together chant this mantra. Usually before we recite Srimad Bhagavatam, we will chant this mantra. So I request everyone together, please chant this mantra. Narayana Namakristya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devi Saraswati Yasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nasta Priyesu Abhadresu Bhagavata Seviya Bhagavata Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 1 and text number 10, Samika Rsi very nicely explained the qualities of the people in Kali Yuga. This is a very famous sloka. Prayana Paisat Sabya, Kalav Asmin Yugi Jnanaha, Mandas Mandamatayo, Mandabhagya Hi Ubadataha. It is mentioned here, O learned one, in this age of Kali, man will have short life. There'll be short life. Okay, in Satya Yuga, people used to live for 100,000 years. And the following Yuga, Treta Yuga, people used to live for 10,000 years. And Dwapara Yuga, people used to live for 1,000 years. So Kali Yuga, we used to live for 100 years. But now you can see the age reduced. So it is mentioned, one of the symptoms of people in Kali Yuga is that they live short life. Secondly, it is mentioned that they'll be quarrelsome. People will be always quarrelsome, kalau. They'll be fighting, they'll be quarreling. There'll be quarreling, husband will be quarreling, brothers, sisters be quarreling, village will quarreling, nation be quarreling. So that is the nature of people in Kali Yuga. They like to quarrel. And the next thing it is mentioned, they'll be lazy. People in Kali Yuga practically they'll be very lazy. They're lazy spiritually, they'll be lazy materially. That is mentioned here. And the next quality is mentioned, they'll be easily misguided. Manda, they'll be easily misguided. Now people can come and cheat them easily. Especially in this age of Kali Yuga, you can see that there are so many religions are popping up. Here and there, so many religions are popping up. People are claiming, I'm God, and then they're misdirecting people. And people are getting easily cheated and misguided because that is the nature in Kali Yuga. Another thing is mentioned that they'll be unlucky, mandabhagya. They'll be very unlucky in this age of Kali. And finally, it is mentioned that there'll be he upadataha. Upadataha means they'll be always disturbed. There won't be peace of mind. People in Kali Yuga, they'll be always disturbed. Once I read an article in America. America is supposed to be the richest country in the world, the most advanced country, and people are living in the most very comfortable life in America. Okay, but America, number one selling medicine in America is sleeping medicine and stress medicine. Sleeping medicine and stress medicines are the number one selling medicine in America because people, they can't sleep. They don't have peace of mind because that is the nature of people in Kali Yuga. Always they disturb. He upadataha. And also it is mentioned the symptoms of people in Kali Yuga in Bhagavatam 12th Canto, chapter 2 and text 1. It is mentioned, Sukadev Goswami said, O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. This is the age we are living in Kali Yuga. As Kali Yuga passed by, continue, we can see all these good virtue will diminish little by little. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam. You can see that people particularly are sinful, very, very sinful. You can see. Okay, when I can compare when I was young, just 30, 40 years ago, how the life was at the time, and compared to now, we can see people are very sinful now. So much of problems, so much of difficulties. This is mentioned in Bhagavatam. As Kali Yuga mature, all the good qualities will diminish one by one. So once, there were two friends were having drinks in a bar. And his friend Muthu, he asked his friend, hey, you look troubled, what's your problem? So his friend said, I'm going to be a father. Then his friend said, Muthu, but that's a wonderful news. Then why you are sad? His friend said, the problem is that my wife doesn't know about it. So that is the nature of people. In Kali Yuga, religion will become irreligion, and irreligion will become the religion. That's the nature of Kali Yuga. Everything will be upside down. Okay, religion become religion. You can see irreligion is the daily activities of everyone. Okay, practically everyone. They do know what is religion. They do not know what is irreligion. That is the nature of Kali Yuga. Okay, next let us see how Kali Yuga take birth. Okay, it all started with a king named by Pariksit Maharaj. Pariksit Maharaj was a grandson of Arjuna. Arjuna's son Abhimanyu married to Uttara, and they were gifted with a son named Pariksit Maharaj. Once Pariksit Maharaj was going around in his country on a chariot. While he was going around, he saw one black man dressed like a king, and he was breaking the feet of a cow. And the cow was bleeding, and the cow was in pain. The cow was crying and bleeding. Practically, the cow was just standing on one foot. And immediately when Pariksit Maharaj saw the cow was being beaten so badly, he came down from the chariot and he took off his sword and he wanted to chop off the head of that man. And that man was none other than Kali Purusha. Kali Purusha means he's a personification of Kali. This Kali personification, he's the one. His whole body is made of sin. His whole body is made of sin. That is why he's Kali Purusha. So he was beating the leg of the cow. So when Pariksit Maharaj wanted to kill Kali, immediately Kali grabbed hold of Pariksit Maharaj's feet and then he begged for pardon. Oh my Lord, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Then the moment Kali repented and asked for forgiveness from Pariksit, Pariksit cooled down and he said to Kali, please, I'll forgive you, but you must not stay in my country. You must get out from my country. Now itself, I shouldn't see you anymore in my country. He'll warn Kali. But Kali said, oh my Lord, this whole earth is your country because Pariksit was the emperor of this whole world. So where Kali want to go? So Kali said, this whole world is yours. Where can I go? Then Pariksit realized, yes, this whole is mine. Then Kali asked, oh my Lord, just give me 4 places where I can reside. And Pariksit Maharaj granted the wish of Kali. And Kali asked, wherever the animals are being killed, you give that place to me. Granted by Pariksit Maharaj. And second, he asked, wherever there's a gambling taking place, you give that place to me. And Pariksit will grant. And third is that wherever intoxication, people drinking, smoking, everything, you give that place to me. And that also granted by Pariksit. And fourth place is that wherever illicit activities are going on, you please give that place to me. So these 4 places, we devotees must avoid these places because Kali reside in these 4 places. Okay? These 4 places are the place where all the sinful activities are going on. Kali reside there. And one more place, Kali will ask Pariksit, oh my Lord, give me one place where I can reside. Wherever there's a goal, you give me that place. I will reside wherever there's a goal. And Pariksit will grant that also without realizing that King Pariksit crown is made of gold. Immediately Kali will go and reside in the crown of Pariksit Maharaj. He will reside and he will influence Pariksit Maharaj. After this incident, Pariksit Maharaj felt very thirsty. He wanted to drink water, so he was wandering in the jungle, and finally he came to one ashram, the ashram of Samika Rsi. He came and asked for water, and at that time, Samika Rsi was in deep meditation. And Pariksit asked, please give me some water, I'm very thirsty. And King Pariksit came, please give me some water. He asked Samika Rsi. But Samika Rsi was in deep meditation. He didn't know what's going on. He didn't see even Pariksit Maharaj present there. So he was in a deep meditation. And after a couple of requests, Pariksit became very offended. Because Kali was sitting in his crown. So at that moment, he was influenced by Kali. And without realizing the implication, Pariksit Maharaj took a dead snake beside and put on the neck of Samika Rsi and left. He left. And the news went to the son of Samika Rsi, Shrngi. When Shrngi heard that somebody have offended my father, immediately he threw a curse to the person, to the offender. He said, whoever have offended my father will die by snake bite in 7 days. He will curse the offender without knowing that the offender was King Pariksit. He will curse. And the news will go to Pariksit that the son of Samika Rsi have cursed you to die in 7 days. And Pariksit Maharaj, realizing his fate, within 7 days, left everything. He gave everything, the whole kingdom, to his son. And then Pariksit Maharaj left to the bank of Ganga. At the bank of Ganga, he could see there are many thousands of sages. And Pariksit Maharaj told them that I'm going to die in 7 days. So in 7 days, what shall I do? How can I prepare myself to face death? So I have so many questions to ask. And then the Rishi will tell, don't worry, my king. There'll be a great Mahan, great sage will be coming. You can pose your question to him. He will give you all the answers. And after a while, there came the great sage named Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami came. And then Pariksit Maharaj will ask questions to Sukadev Goswami. For 7 days, Sukadev Goswami will answer all the questions of Pariksit Maharaj. This conversation between Sukadev Goswami and Pariksit Maharaj is the basis of this great scripture called Srimad Bhagavatam. After 7 days of conversation, as per the curse of the son of Samika Rsi, there'll be a snake, a bird snake named Takshaka, and the bird will come. And as per the curse of the Shrngi, the snake will throw the venom and burn the body of Pariksit Maharaj at the end of 7 days. And Pariksit Maharaj will go back to spiritual world. Okay. And as you know that Pariksit Maharaj is the son of Abhimanyu and Uttara, and will be married to Irabati, and he'll have 4 sons. And the eldest named King Janmejaya. So before the departure of Pariksit Maharaj, he'll hand over the reign and the kingdom to his eldest son, King Janmejaya, after that. Okay. So before Sukadev Goswami spoke this Srimad Bhagavatam to Pariksit Maharaj, Lord Shiva already spoken this Srimad Bhagavatam to Mother Parvati. One day, under tree, Lord Shiva was reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam to Mother Parvati. So while reciting, there was a Mother Parvati was saying, she was acknowledging throughout the recitation of Lord Shiva. At one point, Lord Shiva saw that Mother Parvati was sleeping. She fell asleep. But there was a voice. He heard a voice, Then Lord Shiva saw where the voice coming from. And he saw on the tree, there's one parrot. And the parrot was listening all throughout the conversation, throughout the recitation, Lord Shiva, the parrot was listening. And Lord Shiva, because it's a very secret matter, only it was meant to Mother Parvati. And Lord Shiva got offended. And he wanted to catch the parrot. And the parrot flew away. And in that morning, Vyasadevi's wife was about, she woke up and she was out of the house. She was yawning. And at that time, the parrot entered the mouth of Vyasa's wife. And that parrot reborn as Sukadev Goswami, the one who recited Srimad Bhagavatam to Pariksit. That is why Sukadev, Sukha means parrot. His name is Sukadev. He's a parrot of Srimati Radharani actually. And Sukadev Goswami will remain in the womb of his mother for 16 years. He didn't want to come out because he knew the moment I came out to this material world, Maya will capture me. He refused to come out from the womb of his mother. And Vyasa, the father, will tell Sukadev, Sukadev, please come out. You can't stay in the mother's womb forever. You have to come out. But Sukadev refused to listen to the advice of his father. And his father will tell, Sukadev, you don't be afraid. I'll promise you that Maya won't capture you once you are born. But Sukadev Goswami will never listen to his father. He said, Father, you yourself are captured by Maya. So how you can give me the promise? And that's where Vyasadeva will go and call Lord Krishna. And he will tell Lord Krishna everything. And Lord Krishna will come and promise Sukadeva Goswami that you don't worry, Sukha. I promise you that Maya will never capture you because Maya is my energy. Krishna's energy is Maya. So Krishna is giving a promise. After hearing the promise from Lord Krishna, Sukadeva Goswami will take birth. Okay. The same thing Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text number 14. Daivihi esa gunamai, mama maya dradhyaya, mam eva ye prapayante mayam etam tarantite. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this divine energy of mine consisting of three modes of matter nature is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Krishna said here, Mama Maya Dradya. Krishna said, the Maya is my energy. The Maya is under my control. So Krishna said, whoever surrendered to me can easily cross beyond it. And immediately after Sukadev was born, he grew up. He grew up to become a 16 years old boy. Immediately he grew up. But he was naked because he was free. He was beyond 3 modes of matter nature. Nothing can affect Sukadeva Goswami. Nothing. So he was naked. No, he was a liberated soul. Immediately after he was born, he ran away from his house. He was heading to the jungle. To the forest. And his father, Vyasamuni, was chasing him. He said, Putra, Uttara, please come back, please come back. And when Sukadeva Goswami was walking towards the jungle, he came across a pond where many girls were bathing. They were naked and bathing in the pond. But when Sukadeva Goswami was passing through, none of the girls hid themselves or felt ashamed. They were continually bathing, swimming, enjoying. But after that, when Vyasamuni came at that spot, immediately the girls, they went, they closed themselves with clothes and were hiding behind a tree. And Vyasa asked them, hey, just now my son was passing by and none of you feel ashamed. None of you hid behind the tree. So, but now, because I'm passing through, all of you feel ashamed and you were hiding behind a tree. Why? He asked them. And that's where the girls will tell, because Sukadeva Goswami is beyond 3 modes of matter nature. Nothing will affect him. He has nothing will affect him. He's a transratta, he's a liberated person. That's what she answered by the girls. Let me ask a question to you. Who will compile the Vedas 5,000 years ago? Anybody can unmute and answer my question? Anyone can unmute and answer.
Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva.
Yes. Srila Vyasadeva is the one will recite, will compile all the Vedas. Of course, Lord Ganesh will write, will put into text, written text, but it will be compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva will compile all the Vedic literature and he will compile 18 Puranas. The 18 Puranas will be divided to Sattvic Purana, 6, Rajasic Purana 6, and Tamasic Purana 6. Out of the Sattvic Purana, the top Purana is Srimad Bhagavatam, which consists of 18,000 verses. So all the 18 Puranas, total verses are 400,000. All the 18 Puranas. Okay. Out of all the 18 Puranas, the top Purana is Srimad Bhagavatam, which consists of 18,000 verses. Okay. And this is Srimad Bhagavatam. In second canto, chapter 10, text 1. Very beautiful verse by Suka Goswami. Atra sargo visarga cha sanam posana utaiha manmantra esanukata nirodha bhuktir aswayaha. There are 10 subjects in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarga. Sarga means the primary creation. The primary creation by Mahavishnu. Second, Visarga. Visarga is the creation by Brahma, the secondary creation. Sthanam, the position of the planets. Posanam, the protection by the Lord. Number 5, Udayaha, the creative impetus. Number 6, Manvantara. Manvantara is the king, the emperor who will rule the entire planetary system. And they are called Manu. Okay, the word Manusha come from them. They are the men of mankind. That's why Manusha came from the word Manu. Manvantara, the change of Manu. Isha Anukata, the signs of God. Nirodha, returning home. Mukti, liberation. And 10 Aswaya, the Samambona, the conclusion. These are the 10 subjects spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is known as Mahapurana. All other 70 Puranas are called Purana. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it is called Mahapurana because it speaks 10 subjects. Whereas other Puranas are called Purana because they only speak 5 or 6 subjects. Only Purana which speaks 10 subjects are qualified to be called as Mahapurana. So Srimad Bhagavatam is called Mahapurana because it speaks 10 subjects. Okay. So in Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 13, text number 16, it is mentioned, just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta, the supreme among deities, and Lord Shambhu, Lord Shiva, the greatest of all Vaishnava, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Purana. See, in Bhagavata itself, Vyasadeva himself are saying this, that among all the rivers, Ganga is the greatest. Among all the deities, Lord Achyuta, Lord Krishna is the greatest. Among all the Vaishnava, Lord Shambhu is the greatest. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest among all the Puranas. Okay, these are small tasks for you. There are 6 Sattvic Purana which I mentioned. These are 6. It is hidden here. Can anyone who can write, pen or highlight, please highlight these 6 Puranas. Anyone, please can do that. There are 6 Puranas, the name are hidden here. It's just a short game. Please highlight for me, anyone?
Prabhu, I cannot highlight, but I know where Bhagavatam is. It's a diagonal somewhere in the last third is diagonal up. Yes, from here all the way up, Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam, okay.
Yeah, correct.
You are right. It's diagonal. Okay. The other 5, anyone?
Prabhu, I know number 4, the first row. The first letter.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. 2 more, 4 more.
Prabhu, Vishnu also goes diagonally.
Okay, diagonally. Okay.
Prabhu, Garuda is in the last column.
Garuda is the last column. Okay.
Prabhu, Padma is on the 7th column.
7th column. Okay, Padma. Okay, thank you. Varaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Varaha is on the 7th column.
7th column. Okay.
Sorry, 6th column.
Okay, thank you very much. These are 6 hidden Sattvic Purana. Thank you very much. Okay, this I mentioned just now, there are 12 cantos in Srimad Bhagavatam. These 12 cantos represent different limbs of the Lord. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam itself. Okay. First canto and the second canto are the lotus feet of the Lord. Third canto and fourth canto are the legs and the thighs of the Lord. Fifth canto is the waist of the Lord. 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 is the chest, 7 is the hand, 8 canto is the shoulders, 9 canto is the neck of the Lord. And the 10 is the smiling face of the Lord, and the 11 canto is the hair, represent the hair of the Lord. And the 12th canto are the ornaments on top of the Lord's head. So these are the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in Bhagavata itself that these 12 cantos are representative of the Lord's limbs. Okay, so that's why this Bhagavatam is no different than the Lord Himself. In Bhagavatam itself, very beautifully it is mentioned. It is mentioned. This is the first canto, chapter 1, text number 2. It is mentioned. Dharma prochita kaitavatra paramo nirman saranam satam vedyam avstama atravasa shivatam tapotrayan moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kirti Kimva Parai Ishwaraha Sadhyahidi Avarudate Prakirti Bisu Sursubita Sanam. Very beautifully written. Can somebody please help me to read the translation? Please unmute and read the translation, somebody. Please read, Mataji.
Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realizations. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the
Supreme Lord is established within
his heart.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much. Hare Krishna. So you look at this transaction. This is written by Vasudeva himself. He wrote that, and there's a very beautiful. He said that Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kirti Kimva Pare Ishwaraha. That means this beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need for any other scripture? Can you imagine? Vyasadeva compiled all the Vedic scripture. After that, he said all that no need. What is the need of all other scripture? This one scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam is enough, he said. Sufficient enough to take us back to God. He himself, the author himself saying that. No need any other scripture, this one scripture is good enough. So it's a very, very strong statement by Vyasadeva in these words. Very, very strong. He said this one scripture. That is why the title of this presentation, One Book Journey to Spiritual World, is one book, Srimad Bhagavatam, can take us back to spiritual world. Okay, quiz time. That's a question. Srimad Bhagavatam contains how many cantos, how many verses? Can somebody unmute and answer me, please?
I answer, Prabhu.
Please, Mataji.
12 canto and 18,000 verses.
Thank you very much. Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam contains 12 cantos and 18,000 verses. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I have one more second file because I divided my presentation to 2 files. Let me share again. Okay, the other file. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Can you see the screen?
No, bro, you're actually sharing a different folder. We're actually seeing the Bhagavatam folder, not a slide.
Oh. Can you see now?
Yes, bro.
Okay, thank you very much. Let us continue. Okay, these I like to share wherever I present. I like to share these slides because these are very powerful slides. These quotation from Brahmavata Purana. It is written 5,000 years ago by Vyasadeva himself. This is a prophecy of golden age. In Kali Yuga, we're going to have a golden age, which is called Prema Yuga. There is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Ganga, Mother Ganga. It is mentioned here, Ganges said, O protector, supreme enjoyer, on your departure for the perfect abode, Golaka, thereafter, what will be my situation in each of Kali? Ganga asked Krishna, oh my Lord, after you depart from this world, what will happen to me? That is what Ganga is asking. And the Lord will tell, the blessed Lord said, on the earth, 5,000 years of Kali will be very sinful, and sinners will deposit their sin in you by bathing. See, the Lord said, and people will commit sin, and they will come to Ganga, and they'll bathe in Ganga, and they deposit the sin onto Ganga, and Ganga have to carry all their sins. This is what Lord Krishna tell Ganga. In text 51, Lord Krishna said, thereafter, by the sight and touch of those who worship me by my mantra, all those sins will burn. Krishna will tell Ganga that my devotees will come. My devotees who chant my holy name, who chant this Hare Krishna mantra, they will come and bathe in you, and they will purify you. Krishna tells Ganga that my devotee will purify you. Can you imagine? Ganga is no different than Krishna. Ganga can give a liberation. She has a Shakti to give liberation. And yet, Ganga can be purified by Krishna's pure devotee. Those who chant his Hare Krishna mantra, those who chant his holy name. That is one mentioned by the Lord here. And text 52, Lord Krishna will tell, there will be chanting of the name of Hari and reading of the Bhagavata Purana. Can you imagine Krishna himself 5,000 years ago already prophesied that my devotee will read Srimad Bhagavatam Purana. The Lord himself telling, they will chant this Hare Krishna mantra and they will recite this Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is not an ordinary book. Please, it's not an ordinary book. This book is specially given in Kali Yuga to save the mankind, to save all of us. And then in text 59, Lord Krishna will tell, for 10,000 years of Kali, such devotees of mine will fill the whole planet. And after the departure of my devotees, there will only be one Varna, outcast. Krishna said that only one. Then for next 10,000 years, now Kali Yuga already passed 5,000 years. So another 5,000 years only left. The world will be full by devotees. And after that, Krishna said, all my devotees will depart back to the spiritual world, and there'll be only one Varna. There'll be demons. There'll be sinners only on this world. Krishna said that. Huh? So another 5 years, 5,000 years, so all of us must go back to the spiritual world. The most we have, only 5,000 years we have. We have to go. So in this life itself, all of us must take the opportunity to go back home to the spiritual world. And Krishna said, divide of my devotees, the earth will be shackled by Kali. Saying this, Krishna departed. See, Krishna said that after that, the whole world will be shackled by Kali, only sinful grace. And after that, Krishna departed. This is mentioned in Brahmavata Purana, the conversation between Krishna and Mother Ganga. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, in first canto, chapter 3 and text 43, it is mentioned that the Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has risen just after departure of Krishna to his own boat. So this Bhagavatam, after Krishna performed his pastime on this earth 5,000 years ago for 125 years. After that, Krishna departed back to the spiritual world. After he departed, Krishna came again to this material world as Srimad Bhagavatam. He came in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is mentioned here, persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. See, this Purana will give the light, will enlighten the people in this age of Kali. That is the purpose. Krishna came again in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. 5,000 years ago, after Krishna performed his pastime, Krishna wanted to depart back to the spiritual world. And the last person Krishna saw was Uddhava. Uddhava was Krishna's cousin, and he was a pure devotee of Krishna. And Uddhava was the last person Krishna spoke before he departed back to the spiritual world. Krishna will tell Uddhava, Uddhava, I am going back to my spiritual world. Tomorrow, this whole Dwaraka will be flooded by water. There will be tsunami, and the whole Dwaraka will be flooded. You have to leave Dwaraka. You have to go to Badrinath, northern Himalaya. You have to go to that place, Badrinath. There's a place called Badrinath. You have to go there. So the moment Uddhava heard that Lord Krishna going to depart, Uddhava caught hold of Krishna's lotus feet and he started to cry profusely. He was crying, oh my Lord, you can't leave me. You can't leave me. Take me along with you. I can't live without you, oh my Lord. He was crying profusely. And Krishna will tell Uddhava, no, Uddhava, I have assigned duty for you. You have job to do for me. You can't follow me. You have to stay back. So Krishna will tell him, you go to Badrinath. You go to Badrinath. I'm in Badrinath in the form of Narayana Rishi. Krishna said, there's a beautiful temple, Narayana Rishi. Krishna said, I'm there in the form of Narayana Rishi. I'm in that form. And every day you read Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna will tell Uddhava, every day you read Srimad Bhagavatam because I reside in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna said that. Krishna will personally tell Uddhava that you read Bhagavatam every day because I reside in Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is no different, 100% Krishna. It's no different than Krishna. Lord Krishna says that I reside in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, text 40, Purport, Srila Prabhupada very nicely said, as God is all light, all bliss, all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. And all of us are very fortunate because Srila Prabhupada had translated the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit to English. And today, that Srimad Bhagavatam have been translated almost close to 100 languages in this world. We have Bhagavatam Chinese, we have Hindi, we have in Arab, we have in Spanish, we have in French, we have in English, Urdu, so many languages we have this Srimad Bhagavatam. So all the glories goes to Srila Prabhupada. He took the task to transform, to give us this Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna Sar. There are two kinds of Bhagavata. Okay, when you talk about Bhagavata, there are two kinds of Bhagavata. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 1, text number 99, it is mentioned. One of the Bhagavata is the great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a book Bhagavata. The book Bhagavata is Srimad Bhagavatam. And another Bhagavata is devotee Bhagavata. The pure devotees of the Lord are called devotee Bhagavata, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Hanuman, like Tukaram, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, So all these great personalities are devotee Bhagavata. Another one is book Bhagavata. Book Bhagavata is Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, text 40. It is very beautifully mentioned here. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. See, Bhagavad Gita is mentioned that Vyasadeva is none other than Satyavish avatar of Lord Krishna. Krishna will come. He will send Vyasadeva with his Shakti. His Shakti to compile all the literature. That is why Vyasadeva is called Satyavish avatar of Krishna. Is a non-different than Krishna. He came just to compile and to give the world the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, quiz number 2. Question. What are the 2 types of Bhagavata? I just mentioned that. Anyone who have the answer, please unmute and tell me. What are the 2 types of Bhagavata?
The book
Hare Krishna,
Bhagavata
Prabhu.
and the
Yes.
devotee of Krishna.
Book Bhagavata and?
Pure devotee of Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, the 2 Bhagavatas are the book Bhagavata and the devotee Bhagavata. Okay, thank you very much. Let us continue. A wonderful story of Poonthanam. Poonthanam is a great devotee of Lord Guruvayor. We have a very beautiful temple in Kerala, Guruvayor, Kerala. There was a great devotee named Poonthanam. And Poonthanam is an expert in reciting Bhagavatam. When he recites Bhagavatam, thousands of people will sit and listen. And beside Guruvayor temple, there's one village where there's a very beautiful Lord Shiva temple. And the village is called Kottayur. In Kottayur village, there's one beautiful Shiva temple. But this Shiva temple will only open once a year. The day they will close the Shiva temple and they will open once a day, 7 days in a year, they will open this temple and they will have a big festival. So Poonthanam, 1 year went to that temple. He went to visit to have darshan Lord Shiva. And when Poonthanam went to that Kottayur temple, Lord Shiva temple, many people asked Poonthanam, Poonthanam, please recite Bhagavatam. Please recite Bhagavatam. We like to hear Bhagavatam from you. And Poonthanam agreed and was reciting Bhagavatam. For 7 days, Poonthanam recited Bhagavatam. Thousands of people were hearing Bhagavatam from Poonthanam. On the first day, Poonthanam recited Bhagavatam, 10 canto, chapter number 60. After he finished the chapter, he took the bookmark and he put on first page of chapter 61 because he wanted to recite chapter 61 the second day. So on the second day, when Poonthanam came and he opened the Bhagavatam, he saw the bookmark was on the first page of chapter 60, which he already recited yesterday. But Poonthanam thought, oh, maybe that's a desire of Lord Shiva. He recited chapter 60 on the second day also. And same thing happened on third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day. The whole 7 day, Poonthanam only recited the chapter 60 of a 10 canto. After he finished reciting, he left back to his village. But halfway, Poonthanam was going back to his village. Poonthanam realized that he has forgotten his Bhagavatam in the temple. He forgot to take Bhagavatam in the temple. So Poonthanam went back to the Shiva temple. When Poonthanam went back to Shiva temple, he saw everybody have left. The priests have closed the door. He had locked the temple, and nobody in the temple. So Poonthanam was standing on the door, near the door. He was contemplating what to do. While Poonthanam was standing contemplating what to do, All of a sudden, Poonthanam heard people talking in the temple. And Poonthanam was wondering where the voice came from. Because everybody had left the temple. And Poonthanam, he peeped through, he put his eye to the hole, the door hole, the keyhole. He was peeping through what's going inside the temple. And Poonthanam got shock of his life. He got shock of his life because he could see Lord Shiva reciting his Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi and surrounded by all the ghosts, the jinns, the goblins, all were there. And beside Nandi was there hearing Bhagavatam. Poonthanam was shocked. And Lord Shiva asked Parvati Devi, "Oh my Devi, I have recited Bhagavatam. How was it? Is it very nice? Is it sweet?" And Goddess Parvati said, "Oh my Lord, it's very nice to hear Bhagavatam from you, but it is not as sweet as Poonthanam. When Poonthanam recites, it's so sweet, so nice to hear Bhagavatam from Poonthanam lips." And Lord Shiva told Parvati, "Yes, Devi, I'm very happy. I also love to hear Bhagavatam from Poonthanam. And my favorite chapter is chapter 60, canto number 10. That is why for the whole 7 days, I wanted to hear the chapter 60. And I put the bookmark on the first page of the chapter 60. Lord Shiva will tell Parvati. Poonthanam got shocked. So this is the glory of Bhagavatam. Even Lord Shiva relishes speaking Bhagavatam. Can you imagine what is the glory of Bhagavatam? And all of us are very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate because by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who translated from Sanskrit to English for the benefit of all of us. So make sure every one of us must have Bhagavatam in this life, and all of us must read Bhagavatam, and all of us can go back home to spiritual world in this life itself. So this favorite chapter of Lord Shiva, 10 Cantos, chapter 60, titled Lord Krishna teaches Queen Rukmini Devi. This is the title of chapter 60, which is the favorite chapter of Lord Shiva himself. So anyone who have this Bhagavatam, please, you can read this chapter, a very beautiful chapter. And those who don't have Bhagavatam, please get Bhagavatam and then start reading Bhagavatam in this life and go back home to God. Let me tell you one story. It is mentioned in Kanda Purana. In Kanda Purana, there's a very nice story. There was one brahmana in one village. This brahmana had so much desire to go for Ganga Yatra. That means to go Ganga, to walk to Ganga and to bathe, to bathe in Ganga. So he been having this desire, but he couldn't go because he didn't have the money. So he was saving the money, and finally the day came for him to go to Ganga Yatra. But on that day, there are few Vaishnava, few devotees came to his village. They want to recite his Srimad Bhagavatam. So this brahmana told them that since I'm leaving for Ganga Yatra, why don't all of you use my house and you recite Srimad Bhagavatam? You can use my house because I'm leaving for Ganga Yatra. And then after that, he left to Ganga, he left to Kasi. But when the brahmana reached Kasi, he got shocked because he saw there's no water in Ganga. Ganga was dry. He got shocked. I never heard the Ganga drying. I never heard. But there's not even one drop of water in Ganga. Got shocked. And he saw that many people were coming out from bathing in Ganga. Then he asked them, where you all took a bath? Because I can't see Ganga. Where you all took a bath? And the people say, yeah, we took bath in our Ganga. You can see Ganga is flowing majestically. Why you can't see? Ganga is flowing. There are thousands of people are bathing. Why can't you see? At that moment, the Brahmin realized that he has offended Ganga then Mother Ganga himself refused to give darshan to this Brahman. And immediately the Brahmana started to cry. And he ran to the nearby ashram of one great Muni. He went to that ashram and then he fell at the feet of that Muni. And he told that Muni, "Oh my Lord, I have offended Mother Ganga. She refused to give me darshan. She refused to give me darshan." And when the Brahmana, he turned around, he saw Mother Ganga cooking in that Muni's ashram. He saw Mother Saraswati sweeping in that ashram. He saw Godavari, Mother Godavari is tying garland. He saw all the goddesses of the rivers. They were doing some menial services in the ashram of the Muni. He got shocked. Hey, I could see all the great personalities of the rivers are here. And then he fell. He asked the Muni, "Oh Muni, oh my Lord, who are you? You must be a great person because I can see all the great devatas. They're doing menial service in your ashram. Who are you?" He asked the Muni. And the Muni said, "Oh Brahmana, I'm no one. I'm just a simple person. But my father, he used to have Srimad Bhagavatam. And every day my father used to recite this Srimad Bhagavatam. And after he departed, he passed that Srimad Bhagavatam to me. But unfortunately, I could not read. So I couldn't read the Bhagavatam. So what I did, I put the Bhagavatam on the altar and every day I offer Ganga water and I offer Tulsi Puja. I do simple puja. That is why I think all the devatas are coming to my ashram and doing menial service. Then only the Brahmana realized that he has offended Bhagavatam because there are great rishis, great devotees. They came to his village to recite Bhagavatam, but unfortunately he left his village for Ganga Darshan, Ganga Bath. But he left Bhagavatam, he has offended Bhagavatam. So here from this pastime we can see how great reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me tell you one more pastime. Once Mother Parvati was together with Lord Shiva. So Mother Parvati asked Lord Shiva, "Oh my Lord, can I ask you a question?" Lord Shiva said, "Yes, my dear, you can ask question." Mother Parvati said, "Oh my Lord, I've seen many people wearing flower garlands, lotus garlands, fruit garlands. I've seen, but I never seen anyone wearing skull garland. Why you are wearing a skull garland?" So Mother Parvati asked Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva said, "Oh Devi, all these skulls belong to you in a previous life." And Parvati Devi got shocked. "What? These are the skulls of my skull in my previous life?" Lord Shiva said, "Yes, because you are very dear to me. That is why after you have died, I take the skull and put it as one of my garland." And Lord Parvati will ask Lord Shiva, "Oh my Lord, it's fine. You are saying that I will die, but why you never die?" Parvati will ask Lord Shiva, "We say I will die, but why you never die?" And Lord Shiva will tell, "Because every day I am reciting Srimad Bhagavatam." That's the answer Lord Shiva gave. But of course, Lord Shiva is eternal, okay? He doesn't have to recite Srimad Bhagavatam to be eternal. But Lord Shiva is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. From this pastime, we can see Lord Shiva is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, quiz number 3. Why Vyasadeva compiled all Vedic knowledge into written text 5,000 years ago? Can anyone unmute and answer me? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, you have the answer, please.
Yes, Prabhu. Kali Yuga people, they have very poor memory. And in those days, Vedic scriptures are passed down from guru to disciple through memory. So because they can't remember, so yesterday wrote it down in text.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji, because practically people Kali Yuga, they're lazy and short memory. They can't retain whatever they laid in their memory. Okay, that is the reason why yesterday compiled all the Vedic literature. Thank you very much. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's very beautiful verse. It is mentioned, Kali dosanidhi rajat, hasi hi eko mahan guna kirtan eva kashansa mukta sangha param raje. My dear king, all the Kali Yuga is an ocean of thought. There's still one good quality about this heat. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become free from mental bondage, be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. See, Kali Yuga has so many faults. There's one thing. Hasi hi eko mahan guna. Eko, one mahan guna. That is chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra. So all of us are very lucky. All of us are very lucky because we are chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, because that is the only one good quality in Kali Yuga. And all of us should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Because by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who gave us this Srimad Bhagavatam and also gave us this holy name, all of us are on the way back home to spiritual world. So all of us should thank Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhu, can I ask a question now?
Can I finish afterward and ask Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, there's one more very beautiful verse, very, very important verse in Bhagavatam. This verse mentioned by Sukadev Goswami in 2nd Canto, chapter 1, text number 6. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic power, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the person, the Godhead at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smriti. Okay? That is the most, Sukadev Goswami saying that is the highest perfection of human life. Can you imagine? We can do everything, but the highest thing we can do is Ante Narayana Smriti, to remember Krishna at a time of death. That is what Sukadev Goswami said. And you can see that Srila Prabhupada, in the example of Srila Prabhupada, even though when Srila Prabhupada was on the bed, he was about to depart, and still he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada was translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you imagine how important is Srimad Bhagavatam? Because Srila Prabhupada knows this Bhagavatam is the savior for the people in Kali Yuga. Even on his bed, he was about to die. Prabhupada was translating Bhagavatam. That is how merciful Srila Prabhupada is. That is why we say Prabhupada is the Patita Pavan, he is the savior of all of us. Yes, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, I'd like to conclude to my 1 hour, 1.5 hour presentation. A very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam itself, 12th Canto, chapter 13, text 18. Very beautiful verse. Can someone read the translation, please?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, read the translation, please.
Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. It is most dear to the Vaishnavas because it describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. This Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material world, together with the process of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated.
See, this is Bhagavatam. Thank you very much, Pantaji. Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. There's no any mistake or fault in Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's spotless. In here it is mentioned, anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, become completely liberated. This one book, Srimad Bhagavatam, can take us back to spiritual world. Okay, these 1.5 hours I've been speaking to you, the takeaway points. Whoever have been listening to this class, when you go away from this after this class, please remember this point. First thing is that Srila Prabhupada gave us 2 boats to save the mankind. To save all of us, Srila Prabhupada came in the form of ISKCON, this organization, very beautiful organization. And Srila Prabhupada gave us, first he gave us this Hare Krishna mantra. This is what Prabhupada gave us, this holy name, is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada gave us this holy name. And second thing Srila Prabhupada gave us is this Srimad Bhagavatam Purana. These are the 2 boats going to save the people in mankind, this Kali Yuga. So all of us are very, very lucky because we have these boats. Boats are there. These 2 boats are waiting for us. We just have to board the boat and go back home to the spiritual world. And finally reach Golaka Vrindavan and reach the lotus feet of Lord Sri Radha Krishna. Okay, that's end my presentation today on the glories of Bhagavatam. But before I end my presentation, I would like to speak 5 minutes on the Bhadra Purnima 2021. So Bhadra Purnima campaign for the whole world, where it started from March 29 and it's going to end on September 21st. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam itself, on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift. He will attain the supreme transcendental destination. That means whoever donates Srimad Bhagavatam to some devotee in this Bhadra Purnima will go back home to spiritual world. Can you imagine? Yes, that is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you just donate the Bhagavatam, you'll go back home to the spiritual world. That is one mentioned here in Bhagavatam. Okay? So Bhadra Purnima campaign for the last 3 years, 2018, the whole world we sold 7,007 Srimad Bhagavatam set. In 2019, we sold 6,543. And last year, there was a leap, there was a tremendous improvement. We sold 24,195 sets of Bhagavatam, whole world. And for this year, the goal for this year, Bhadra Purnima goal is 25,000 Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole world, okay? So in Malaysia, we have a goal to sell 200 sets of Bhagavatam. Okay, this year, the world goal is 25,000, but in Malaysia, we targeted 200 sets of Bhagavatam. Okay, the chairman of this Bhadra Purnima campaign is none other than His Grace Vasisika Prabhu. He's a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He's the chairman of Bhadra Purnima campaign of the whole world. And you can hear a wonderful video by him on this Bhadra Purnima.
Prabhu, we can hear, bro.
Oh, can hear, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Life is about giving. The more you give, the more you grow. Should we give?
Clear.
Lots of people give things, but they don't mean anything, or they're even harmful. What is the best gift? Srimad Bhagavatam. Get involved this year in Bhadra Purnima. That is the time When one gives the Srimad Bhagavatam, the giver gets the great gift of going back home, back to Godhead. It's in September every year, and devotees all over the world join together to give the Srimad Bhagavatam to friends, relatives, strangers, everyone. Srimad Bhagavatam comes from the heart of God Himself. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the form of Srila Vyasadeva, gave this great gift to the world to help everyone overcome the complexities of life and go back home, back to Godhead. Sukadev Goswami says, Anarto pasanam sakshad, bhakti yoga madhoksaje, lokasya ajanato vidvams, chakre satvata samhitam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the good of people all over the world. It will cure the disease that makes everyone suffer. Let the world be awash in the gift of Srimad Bhagavatam. Contact us at bhadracampaign.com. Get involved, get your friends involved, get your family involved, and let's make the world a better place by distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, please contact a teacher, mentor, local temple. Please get a Bhagavatam today. Those who don't have Bhagavatam, please get Bhagavatam. Those who have Bhagavatam, you can sponsor one Bhagavatam in this month of Bhadra Purnima. And like what Bhagavatam said, we can go back home to spiritual world. Okay?
Life is...
And I would like to conclude my presentation by a quotation by Srila Prabhupada. If you want to learn how to love God, Krishna, then study Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, His Grace Yaduraj, for the wonderful presentation. Now, essentially, the question and answer. You may unmute yourself and you can ask question, or you can also type in your question in the chat box and we can read it to His Grace Yaduraj. So, bro, I got a first question. So, why are the chapter cantos in Srimad Bhagavatam represent the part of Lord Vishnu? Is there any specific meaning?
Yeah, here when Lord Krishna is Lord Vishnu, okay, when we talk first canto, second canto represent lotus feet. So Krishna here means Vishnu, no difference. Vishnu is Krishna. So there's no difference. So when we talk or represent Krishna, it's actually Vishnu. Okay, there's no difference.
Okay, any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Malini Mataji. Yes.
Yeah. What's the difference between Nirodha and Mukti?
So here, where we see Nirodha here, Prabhupada translated as going back home. That's what Prabhupada translated Nirodha, going back home. So, and Mukti, Prabhupada translated liberation, and total liberation. So here, there's a difference between when we talk the liberation. Liberation doesn't mean only to go back home to spiritual world. So you can even get liberated while in this material world. Like Sukadev Goswami Prabhupada, I always say he is a liberated soul. In this material world itself is a liberated. So liberated means that one who transcends the three modes of material nature. That's the meaning of liberation. Okay. So Nirodha means practically going back home to spiritual world. So that's the difference. So always we have tendency to think that liberation means going back home to spiritual, that liberation. No, liberation also applies to those who are beyond the three modes of material nature, like Sukadev Goswami and Prabhupada, they all liberated. So, okay? Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu. Yes, you may ask, Prabhu.
Can you listen, Prabhu?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, yes, Prabhu. Dr. Krishna Prabhu. Solang Prabhu.
Prabhu, now we are in the age of Kali Yuga.
Yes.
And you mentioned that the first 10,000 years we are having a golden period.
Yes.
Which only the demonic period starts. So this 10,000 years golden period, Prabhu, starts from the date of appearance of Krishna or the appearance of Mahaprabhu.
No, Krishna said that after he departs, Kali starts after Krishna departs. So the 10,000 starts from Krishna departure. The 10,000 Krishna mentioned here from the day he departs. That's why Krishna 10,000. It's not from Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu only came 500 years ago. So this Prema Yuga, Krishna 10,000 years. 10,000 here, Krishna mentioned here, start from the day he departs. Because after he departed, he came in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Krishna.
Did I answer question, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhu, what is the best way to study Srimad Bhagavatam?
The best way to study Srimad Bhagavatam. Your question, can you be specific, Mataji? Because the best way to study Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's a bit broad. What do you mean by best way to study Srimad Bhagavatam? Maybe can you be specific?
Did we go canto by canto, or can keep?
Yeah, definitely. In introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada himself will tell that you have to go from canto to canto. That means first canto, second canto, third canto, gradually up to finally to 12th canto. You cannot jump from first canto, you jump to 10th canto, you jump to 12th canto. No. Prabhupada himself clearly mentioned in introduction that you have to follow the process, the flow of the canto from first canto up to 12th canto. Don't jump. So Prabhupada himself mentioned that. So you can read few verses every day. You can, even myself, I can tell you, I took almost about 16, 17 years to complete Bhagavatam, because I could not read, like some people, they have completed Bhagavatam within 6 months, because every day I read few verses. So you can follow that practice. If you have time, you can read more. But definitely you have to start from first canto up to 12th canto.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thanks. Just to add on a question along the question, there is a question from Krishna Prabhu. What is the best canto of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Prabhu, all the 12 cantos are the limbs of the Lord. So you cannot tell which limbs of the Lord is the best. Is the lotus feet better than the head? Is the stomach better than the waist? You cannot tell, because the Lord is absolute. You can't tell Lord's hand is better than Lord's leg. All are equal, Prabhu. All are equal. Lord is absolute. So same thing, Bhagavatam. All 12 cantos are equally important, Prabhu. Equally important. Okay. Of course, the 12 cantos are given the represent different limbs of the Lord. Like of course, it is mentioned first canto, second canto is the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay. So that is a different limbs to represent Bhagavatam, but if you ask me, all 12 cantos are equal, Prabhu. It's not mentioned in Bhagavatam that first canto is more important than second canto or more important. It's not mentioned, Prabhu. It is mentioned all 12 cantos are equally important, Prabhu.
Thanks, Prabhu. Any other questions? Any other question? You can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sukita Mataji.
Prabhu, is this class, is this an ongoing class? Meaning from tomorrow onwards, is there classes tomorrow? Bhagavatam classes?
No, but this topic, Mataji, especially I'm speaking for this topic today in English. And on Thursday, I'll be speaking same title, same topic, but in Tamil on Thursday, 8:30 to 9:45. So, that's all. And after that, we'll see how, as we go on, if I've completed different topics, I'll be talking to Padmanita Prabhu, and I'll be sharing with the Gita Gyan students as we go along different topics. Maybe in future, I can share another new topic with the Gita Gyan students. So the next, this topic, I will speak in Tamil on Thursday. Same
okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sukita Mataji, you may actually fill up the form in a chat box so that we can actually keep you posted on our future program like this. So you can actually fill up. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Prabhu.
Thanks, Mansi. Any other questions? Prabhu, there is one question from Ravindran Mohan Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Golden Avatar, Radha Krishna, right? What is appearance predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam and also appearance of Srila Prabhupada?
Yeah, definitely. There's a very famous verse in Bhagavatam itself which prophesies the coming of Mahaprabhu. Very, very beautiful verse, famous verse. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sankopanga Sapartatam Yagya Sankirtana Prayi Ekyantu Hesumedasa. Very beautiful verse. It is mentioned that Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam. That Krishna will come. He will come, but he won't come in a black complexion. He'll come Krishna. That means he won't be black. He will come Sankirtana Prayi. It is mentioned that he will come and he will do Sankirtana. Congregation chanting the holy name. And that is one Mahaprabhu. It is mentioned here. So he will come, Krishna will come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he will do Sankirtana. And then he'll be surrounded by his devotee, by disciple, confidential weapon. His confidential weapon will be the holy name. This Hare Krishna mantra. And it is mentioned that who will worship Mahaprabhu? Those who are intelligent. Bhagavatam himself said that those who are intelligent will worship Krishna in Kali Yuga in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is mentioned. And it is mentioned in Vayu Purana. It is mentioned in many other Purana that Krishna will come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is mentioned. I can just quote. Actually, there are many quotes. Actually, we can send you. In fact, I've sent Padmanitra Prabhu earlier, the prophecy of Mahaprabhu. Maybe Padmanitra Prabhu, you can send that. Remember, Prabhu, the Kali Yuga Dharma, I send you all the prophecy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, you can send to this Prabhu, prophesizing the coming of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Can. Prabhu, you just fill up the form, then we will send it together in the email. Thanks, Prabhu. Any other questions? Okay, so Prabhu looks like, yeah, there's no any other questions. So once again, thank you everyone for joining our session today. And like Prabhu mentioned, we have a session in Tamil coming Thursday. So we'd like to see everyone can send your family members as well. So with that,
the same material by going to be in Tamil. So I don't expect you all to join again because you're going to be same material. Maybe if you have any friends, anyone who are familiar both to Tamil, you can send to them. Maybe they can join the Thursday class.
Yeah. So with that, we end the session now here. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna. So please don't forget to fill out your forms.
Thank you very much. If I've said something wrong or offended anybody, please